Banyabo ne bassebo tusanze nnyo okwetaba mu convention ya Buganda bumu ey'omwaka guno. Ffe wano ng'ab'e Boston tukoze nnyo ebintu bingi ebitutadde okuba part of community ya wano mu Boston, Massachusetts ne mu America yonna yonna.
Africano is a place where mostly kids feel at home, but also they learn about where they come from. And I give them tools to use in their new place of life. Call it like a bridge. It's a bridge place. It's a home away from home. It's a cultural edutainment center. First of all, our community is very, very supportive, and I'm so proud of that. They provide moral support, financial support, and everything. That is really a great thing. But as I've moved on, I've realized that it's very important to create Africano by itself, to show that Africano is a unit of its own as a neutral place. That is the best way to work with my community. I'm realizing that the kids are trying for their best to solve their problems. Yet, actually, we would hope for conversation between families. The kids are pulling into themselves, they're sorting themselves out, which is bringing a lot of deaths in the community. Parents should talk to children. They should become friends. And that kind of thing is not happening in America. In Uganda, it works wonderfully because that is the setting. But when we move and come here, we need to kind of adjust and we need to change the priorities.
When I was younger, my parents got an opportunity to come to the United States. We lived in Florida, worked in Florida and I went to the University of Florida for my undergrad, moved to the Boston area. I've been part of the United States military, started some businesses, traveled and lived in other parts of the United States, and currently I'm a CPA candidate and a Doctor of Health candidate. For me, the biggest challenge was the education system. Having left the Ugandan education system and coming to America was a challenge. Believe it or not, this is a joke. In my family, I ended up failing out of high school, dropped out of high school, and ended up getting a GED. At the time, it was sad for anybody to get a GED. Today, it's widely acceptable. But at the time, GEDs were frowned upon.
Bandi mukukuta eranga jendaga nyatira okutuuka nempulira awogana n'enkyuko kulaba nyirira agudde mu kinnya ng'akibuuka teyakisuka mu bimpimpi mpita kibuuka nze nasokkayo okumuyamba n'akibuuka.
So hi, my name is Jennifer Kiza. I was born and raised in Gainesville, Florida, but my dad, Peter and Kedi Kiza, is from Uganda, and my mom, Rosie Kiza, is from Malawi. So I graduated from Harvard College in 2016, where I studied neurobiology with a secondary in global health and health policy. I followed that by a master's in global health science and epidemiology at the University of Oxford. And after that, I spent a year doing research on the incidence and prevalence of neurological and neuropsychiatric disorders in Uganda. Currently, I'm a first-year medical student at Harvard. So I think from a very young age, I found that I was interested in science, and I was lucky to have a lot of mentors who encouraged me to think about medicine. So in middle school, I had a few teachers who had mentioned shadowing in hospitals, and I quickly realized how much I enjoyed being in the clinical space. And that continued in high school. I continued to pursue further science courses and shadowed ever so often and frequently in hospitals. And in undergrad, I came in thinking that I wanted to still do medicine. I will say what I learned and what I developed an appreciation of was global health. I realized that a lot of my interest in medicine also stemmed from an understanding of what are inequalities within the field, both in the US and at a global scale. And I think I had often seen a lot of patients who had difficulty accessing care, a lot of family members who had to go through a lot of obstacles to help their loved ones get to a healthy state, especially in cases where the care was available but was not accessible. And so I think a lot of my education and training has led me to have a strong interest not only in medicine but also in equity, health advocacy, epidemiology, and hopefully making an impactful change down the road.
Serving in the military is something I've always wanted to do. During that time when we had just come, I thought of joining. I was younger, but I chickened out. My parents didn't feel comfortable because of what they didn't know what to expect, fear of the unknown. But I've gotten some family members who have served in the military. We were able to talk, but my parents thought going through college and graduating college, then joining the military would be a better avenue for me.
I think as a first-generation American, it often feels like you have 1 foot in Uganda, and in my case 1 foot in Uganda and Malawi, and 1 foot in the US. And by that I mean there's often, I think, a bit of a difficulty of traversing what is the American quote-unquote traditional culture and what is the quote-unquote traditional Ugandan and Malawian culture. And I think especially growing up, I sometimes felt like I was being pulled in various directions about what I should be espousing as my values. And I think what I've come to appreciate as I've gotten older is how lucky and fortunate I am to have such a rich culture and heritage informing my first generation status as a US citizen. And I think combining that with the rich culture and melting pot of cultures that is the US and Uganda and Malawi. So I think what was a challenge maybe growing up has become something that I've really learned to appreciate and be thankful for.
I left family home, but I came with my children. I came in winter, so leaving the sun and leaving the big family was a hard one. Leaving my food, I didn't think there was food that I knew here. So that was a hard one. But when I came and I was like, things can work out. But luckily enough, I'm in Waltham and I love it. And it's got beautiful places, people. And I think it's a great place to live.
I know that a lot of the achievements that I've had, a lot of the experiences that I've had the privilege to be a part of are specifically because people above me saw that they wanted to help me and wanted to help me understand how to do something better or help me do something in the future or even just gave me advice that would set me up in a way that would help me down the road.
It's an honor to be at this convention, and anything that you feel like we can work together and push our agendas forward, mainly our culture, will be amazing. So again, we as Ugandans, I hope we get to the point we learn to work together, mainly beginning with forums like this one, using the platforms like these ones, and we learn to work together as a group, as a people.